my way to the Bay in a couple weeks and just pin you down.
That would have been tough, but you could have done it. I believe in
Well,
you.
you don't know the general.
I got to ask the general. I know that.
Welcome to the Now podcast, Making Moves in Real Estate. This is episode 36.
Yeah.
Today's guest has been a licensed real estate agent since 2017 and obtained his broker's license last year in 2023. So he's born and raised in Livermore, California, a dedicated husband, super proud dad to their 8-year-old daughter, and leads a very successful team of 4 agents. With a hands-on approach, he guides his clients through buying, selling, or investing using his expansive network to ensure success. So he's got 2 dogs, Gizmo and Cashew. Life's always exciting. And let's go ahead and dive into Jake's journey. Jake Fahnhorst, did I say that correctly?
You got it. Fahnhorst. Yeah.
Nice.
You got it. Good
Welcome.
job. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, so I don't know if you even remember this, but I got your name from Jeremy Wallace. Do you know Jeremy, or does he just know you?
No. So I coached his son back maybe 10 years ago. No, maybe eight years ago. Golf. Coached him in golf.
Oh.
And actually, I helped Jeremy sell their house this year.
There you
So
go.
I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that. So
Yeah.
well, I need to know about that. Did he move out of the area, or is he still in the area?
They stayed in area. They're still in Livermore. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know Jeremy
so
and
there you go.
his wife from back in the day in my former pharmaceutical years. So when he said, you got to call this guy, I called you. I don't know if you remember that.
I do recall. And we've been misconnecting for ever since. So, but here we are now. So
Here we are. So tell us about how great you are in Livermore, because you were a teacher before. What made you get into real estate?
yeah, so I was a teacher starting 2011 and then wrapped up my teaching career in 2019. And I was in real estate. I got my license October 2017, so almost 7 years right now. And I was doing both jobs for a couple of years. But what got me into real estate is, well, when me and my wife purchased our first home back in 2016, kind of piqued my interest. And I was actually painting the exterior of my house with a buddy of mine, Michael Schau, who he was a broker. And he was on the phone talking to clients of his. He was working on a deal, helping his friends purchase a property in San Francisco. And I was just listening to him talk on the phone and, working this deal. And I thought to myself, I could do that, right? And my grandmother and my aunt, they always told me, you should be a realtor. You should be a realtor. And I was like, no, I'm a teacher. I want to be a teacher. That's what I'm going to do. But at that moment, I got the thought in my mind. And then me, Michael, my wife, and his wife, we had dinner that night and several wines, we'll say. And we around the fire pit, we decided, we came up with an idea plan. All right, you've got your broker's license. I'm going to get my license and we'll start helping people in Livermore. And the next day I signed up for the classes. I called Michael. I said, all right, we're doing it. He was like, oh, you were serious? So
That wasn't just a line talking?
yeah, exactly. So 3 months after that, so that was in July. By October, had my license. By the new year, Michael Schau, my good buddy Michael, started MH Real Estate Company. I was the salesperson, and by June we had our first our first business. So a friend of ours purchased a home in Livermore, Cole Solid. Thank you for getting me started here. And he actually joined my team later and he's back in the tech field. But anyway, so that was kind of how it started. And then I was doing both jobs for a couple of years, got to a point where, doing real estate, doing coaching, teaching, new dad. It got too busy to the point to where I had to make a decision on going full-time real estate. So bet on myself, got the wife on board, and she said, all right, you've got my permission. You could go all in on real estate. And 2019, June 2019 was my last time full-time in the classroom. And then pandemic hit, and it was crazy because I had some escrows going and then they all canceled. And it was like, what's going on now? I don't have a guaranteed paycheck coming but as we know what happened in real estate during pandemic, it all worked out in the end.
Can we sit on that for a second in regards to you overlapping careers? Because there's a lot of agents that do that, right? They're scared to make that leap of faith and quit whatever their full-time job is and get full-time into real estate. We have a few people I can think of on a team of someone that we work with down in the Fresno market.
We're meeting with someone today.
And we're meeting with someone today in the same boat, has a tech job and would love to do full-time real estate, but they're hesitant to leave a paycheck that they know is coming. What advice can you give to someone that's in that position, or what helped you get off the fence?
Yeah. So I looked at it like I had 2 full-time jobs. I didn't look at it as I was a full-time teacher, a part-time realtor. I was like, I'm all in both areas, and I'm going to do my absolute best in education as well as, in the area of real estate. So that was the mindset, right? So if anybody said, oh, you're part-time, no, I'm not. I have another job, but I'm still like, I could service you. I could serve you, help you as a client, just as good as any other realtor, right? So that was the mindset, but also from a financial perspective, I didn't go full-time until my wife was convinced, right? But once we had reserves enough to be like, all right, if the world ended or if everything stopped, no sales happened for a year, we'd be okay kind of thing. But got to a point in the business where I was, I had escrows and then I had a pipeline, and it made sense to make that full-time leap into the business. So it was tough leaving my career as an educator, because it was what I did for a decade, and it was part of my identity, right? It was my brand, right? If you look at it from that perspective. So that wasn't an easy decision, because you tell somebody you're going to do something, go a different direction. Everybody has their opinions, right? Like, why would you do that? You're such a great teacher and X, Y, Z. But ultimately, like I said, bet on myself, and I always had an entrepreneurial bone that I wanted to utilize. So it worked out how it was supposed to work out.
Yeah.
So advice would be have some reserves, right? Because we're in sales. So if you're not making sales, then you don't have a paycheck, right? So you got to live. So have reserves, but have the mindset of, I could serve you as a client just as good as any other full-time realtor, right? You just have to time block, right? So I couldn't be out showing properties or meeting with clients from 8 in the morning till 3:30 or whatever, but I could meet you at 3:31, right? I could have that phone call on my lunch break at school or whatever. So just time blocking, utilizing your calendar, and having the mindset of, I could serve just as well as any other agent. But right now, being a full-time agent, I feel like I could serve my client. I'm available all the time, right? But that was the mindset for sure.
Okay. So speaking of serving your clients, you have community-driven, service-focused everywhere. I've noticed on your signs, on your social media, you speak it. So I suspect a significant part of your business comes from your referral network and your ability to live by that. Essentially, that's your mission, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's kind of the slogan, right? The mission is to expertly serve our clients with care, compassion, and consistency. That's technically the mission statement, but my personal mission statement is to be a plus in the lives of others. So community-driven, service-focused, that's the tagline. So community it's what keeps us going, right? It's our long-term fuel for, my life and our business, right? So we have a saying, it's people helping people, PHP. So that's as simple as the community-driven. We're here to help people and in whatever capacity we can. And service-focused, above and beyond is the standard. That's our other kind of our vision statement. So, community-driven, service-focused. It kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit, right?
Yeah. And you have a team now. So you were on your own for a few years. When did you start your team?
So technically, Ken Quimby, he's been with me from the beginning with MH Real Estate. So I was with MH Real Estate 2017 October, and then November 2019 made the transition to Keller Williams Tri-Valley. But started the team technically in probably September 2019 with me and Ken. And then once we shifted to Keller Williams, started the brand of the Jake Fahnhorst team. So
What's the structure of your team? Like what do you have a advisors? Tell us.
We're still working that out, to be honest. Like I'm still learning how to run a team. So the structure right now, we have an admin, our success manager, Edson. So he's kind of the behind the scenes, with some marketing stuff, our systems and things like that. And then we've got agents on the team, not necessarily buyers agents, but just agents, right? And then they're able to leverage the brand, and we could serve our clients better by it's not just my availability. If I'm not there, someone else could be there. No matter what, somebody's going to be there serving our clients. So that team concept and having everybody buy into that, and everybody on our team is here to help each other in order to help our clients. So we've got a solid squad right now, and so I'm really happy about that.
Is Livermore still? I mean, I know it was growing exponentially given the proximity to the bay. Is it still popping off or stabilized?
Yeah, I would say in Livermore, it's kind of that Goldilocks zone, to the Silicon Valley and San Francisco. It's not too far. It's far enough away that you still get good bang for your buck. So it's still booming. It's still a little bit of a secret. Not everybody knows about it, but I think people are starting to hear, and I think it's going to continue to grow for that reason. Once people realize how great it is here, they'll continue to come.
Once everyone hears this podcast.
I feel like we've asked our guests ad nauseum how things are going specific to the changes in our industry, but it wouldn't hurt to get your perspective on it, given that your team is doing so well. I suspect you've been rolling through it just fine, but maybe any particular nuggets that you've learned through the transition that you can share with our listeners, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, dealing with sellers, working with sellers, the conversation has been a little easier, to be honest, versus talking to buyers. And I'm probably 70% sellers. So working with sellers, it's, here's what here's my value, here's what I charge. And then typically a buyer's agent will be compensated. We'll cross that bridge when offers come in, but I would anticipate paying up to 2.5%, but it'll be a negotiation point. And that's been great, having that be the conversation. Then most offers that are coming in are requesting the concessions for the seller to pay the buyer's agent commission. That's been my experience so far. And there hasn't been any issues yet that I've run into. However, on the buyer side, I've actually got a meeting at 9:30 with some buyers who I'm working with right now. And we've got, we've showed property, therefore we've had the buyer broker agreement, and, I charge what I charge. But I also said, I'm going to do everything in my power to help you and be compensated by the seller. And what that's going to do, that's going to help you with your affordability, and ultimately it's going to be a win-win situation for everybody, right? But we wrote an offer and the seller is not wanting to pay commission to the buyer's agent. So we're having a meeting to talk about that today. So it'll be interesting.
Would you, on this particular deal, if we don't mind walking through it a little bit, did it say on the MLS concessions yes or no when you showed it?
So that's no longer a thing. So on our MLS, there's no anything with concessions or commissions. That field has been removed from our MLS Bay East.
Okay. Ours still has a yes or no. Obviously doesn't reference amounts. Did the listing agent, are you guys having conversations with the listing agents prior to showing to get a feel, or are you just rolling and then hoping to negotiate after the fact?
So this one in particular, it's an off market.
Ah, gotcha.
And yeah. So this one's an off market. But prior to showing, I personally, I don't call and say, hey, is there a commission?
Okay.
That's just it's not really a thought. Honestly, I'll just write it in on the offer with the concession in there, and then, negotiate from there. But I haven't had that be an issue yet representing buyers until this off-market situation here.
Gotcha.
So what's the plan in this crucial conversation? I want to know.
Yeah. So we had, a consultation, a buyer consultation, and basically where I said, look, I'm here to help you, and I want to, whatever way I could help, and I'm going to get paid from the seller. And if I don't, honestly, then this is me personally. I'm not speaking for the whole industry, right?
Right.
But I said, I'm going to help you. I'm not going to charge you even if they don't pay.
Oh, wow.
I said that. And I'm a man of my word. So that's what, when it comes down to it, that's how it's going to roll. And the thought behind that is 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, if they are going to sell, they're not going to sell with anybody else.
Well,
Or you sign the buyer's.
So your buyer broker agreement has a 0?
No, it has a 2.5, but I don't. I'll amend that. I'll amend it, and because I told them I said what I said, and I meant what I said, and I do what I said I do.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. I don't know. We're definitely not approaching it that way. If anything, actually, I'd say we're in our markets maybe different, but I'm coaching my team to actually try to pre-negotiate before you even go look at a home, and try to, negotiate what we could get in anticipation prior to, especially with our first-time home buyers in our market. That price point's, $350,000 to $400,000. So they don't have a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
they just because the law changed, they don't have an extra 10 grand to throw down to pay us.
Mhm.
So I guess
Yeah.
in our mind, it's important to know that we will be able to get compensated, and it will be based off of how good our negotiation skills are
Mhm.
from the seller to help protect our buyers from having to pay us. Because on the flip side, I think our time is valuable and our with expertise in our market. So we definitely don't want to sell ourselves short. So we're kind of approaching it a little different than you, and that's why we like having these conversations
Yeah.
because right now it's like the wild, wild west, and it's different for everybody in every market. So it's
Yeah.
kind of neat to hear, different strategies.
For sure. And like, I'm in business. We're in business. We don't like to work for no compensation.
Right.
But at the same time, in this instance, that this is what is happening.
Yeah, and they might
I'm
say, great, we're going to pay you. Jake, you're amazing.
I think he's confident in his ability to get the seller to pay something.
I know. The
Probably.
seller already said no.
Well, but they're going to negotiate, right?
No,
Or
he's talking to his buyer.
So negotiating with the seller is still not. It's not off the table.
No. So we're in negotiations currently. Right now, we're not in contract at the moment. So we'll see how this one shakes out. But
Maybe
yeah, and like I said,
up the
I think
offer.
long
Enough.
term.
Yeah, say up the offer enough to cover your commissions, right? Add an extra whatever, 20 grand or whatever the percentage equals out and add it on top.
Yeah.
Right? That could be something.
Exactly. I mean, if push comes to shove, right? Because having to pay 2.5% of 1.3 million on top of your other closing costs and down payment versus having it amortized over 30 years, that's a big difference. So,
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes, right? But
I think
at the end of the yeah, at the end of the day, I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking in decades. I'm not thinking in
yeah.
next month. So
Right.
anyhow,
All right. Well, there's a couple personal things I wanted to mention. Did you know that he's a Cal Poly San Luis Obispo graduate?
Aw, that's where we just took our daughter. This is her first week there.
go Mustangs.
Oh,
Go
Mustang.
Mustangs.
Yeah, I'm a proud mom.
Where is she in the dorms in Mustang Village?
She is. She's in the Yosemite dorms, is where hers is.
All right.
Ironically.
That was, yeah. Good coincidence there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cal Poly was, great school, great town, good times, good memories there. Haven't been back in a long time, but
Aw.
I'll have to go back.
And then before we wrap, we have to talk about the 49ers. Like, I don't know. I played the game, the draw last year, but then none of my numbers got picked. You have a promotion going on right now that I participated in. I'm like, pick me, Jake, pick me. So what's going
It
on?
is the
with
luck
your
of the draw, not
business?
luck of
I
the draw.
know, you got to pick me though. So what
We'll
do you
see what we
think?
can do.
Yeah, well, it would just make my husband.
I think, I mean, it's early in the season, right? Week 4.
Yeah.
Got the Patriots coming up. It should be a good get right game, get us back on the right track. I think injuries hurt.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a long season. Would I like to be better than 1-2 right now? Yeah, I think the whole 49ers organization would like that, but I'm faithful. I'm thinking that at the end of the season, we'll be in the postseason, and hopefully we've got healthy players, and we'll be able to make a good push. Maybe another Super Bowl appearance would be nice.
Is your daughter into football?
She is into cheerleading, so she's done like some cheerleading camps, and she was doing like a cheerleading. What were they called? The California Bullets, but it was a little too crazy. They were like the super competitive ones that like go on ESPN, that type of thing. she wasn't quite ready for that yet. But she likes cheerleading. She watched the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders on Netflix, and she's gonna be this pains me, but she's gonna be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader for Halloween.
Oh my God.
No,
Yeah,
Jake.
yeah. Well, she's still a Niner fan, but she's a DCC fan, is what she says. So we're going. Yeah, we're going as a family to the Patriots Niner game on Sunday, and she's not going to be wearing her Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders outfit. We'll just say.
He's like, let's get
Aw, that's going to be a fun game. Fun. We're going
Yeah,
to.
should be a win. Should be a win. Yeah, but so my family played for the 49ers. So we said my uncles, but it was my dad's cousins.
Got it.
So yeah, Keith and Jim Fahnhorst, they played back in the heyday, the late 70s, 80s, and early 90s. So fun fact, The Catch, The Catch, Dwight Clark, Joe Montana rolling out to the right against the Cowboys. The Catch, if you look at number 71 blocking for him out there, that's Keith Fahnhorst. So it's fun fact.
Oh,
I'll have to tell my husband.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you
So
hurt your daughter back, huh?
oh no, she's Niners. She's not just the Cowboys cheerleaders. Yeah.
Well, so if our listeners want to follow your amazing stories on 49ers, Bay Area, trips to Mexico, giving back to your community, which is just awesome to watch all the things that you do, where can our listeners follow more about all of that?
Yeah, I guess on Instagram would probably be the best place to do that, at Jake Fahnhorst Real Estate. Yeah, you could be one of my few hundred followers and see all the fun stuff.
You gotta have more than that, dude. Like I love watching you.
It's not a lot, but it's my people, right?
Yeah.
So that's what
fun.
it's all about.
That is what it's
Yeah, I didn't purchase any followers, so.
You have almost 2,000. Stop it.
Oh, look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Well, Jake, we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. We love what you're doing. We're going to definitely continue to follow your journey. And hopefully, if we go to the Bay or if we watch any games or something, we'll hit you up.
Sounds good. I'll be here, and thank you very much for taking the time to have me on the podcast. I feel like a big shot here. So thanks, Courtney. Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, I mean,
Appreciate it.
yeah, thank you so much, Jake. We'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good. Have a great Friday.